is Jiminy Glick. Oh, it's Lalawood. And I'm at the American Comedy Awards with the wonderful Steve Martin. Steve, how wonderful to see your smiling face.
Oh,
You've
thank
had
you.
such an energy, and so many people have been moved by you and your ability. There's so many things I want to talk to you about.
Maybe we could get to one of them.
Oh, that would be fun. You were born in Waco, Texas.
Yes, I was.
Where is Waco, Texas?
It's in Waco, Texas.
Waco, Texas.
Yes.
Did you go to college, Steve Martin?
Yes, I did.
What did you study?
I studied philosophy.
Philosophy. And I guess that came in handy in when you were blowing up those balloons in your act.
Yes. Do you know what philosophy is?
I want to get back to that. You're a collector of impressionist art.
No.
You aren't. You collect art, but you are an impressionist. Can you do some of your people now? Do a little Wallace theory.
Well, I think you're thinking of someone else.
Rich
I don't really
Little.
do impressions. Yes, you're probably thinking of Rich Little, who does impressions in the old days.
I want to talk to you about Wally Bogue.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Jimmy Bogue, his brother.
Right.
Jimmy Bogue and I were both waiters at Chasen's.
Uh-huh.
And the thing that I've always felt interestingly connected to you, Steve Martin, is that when you made the absent-minded waiter, Jimmy Bogue and I used to say, isn't that funny, because we're both waiters, and here he's absent-minded, and so am I.
May I say
Yes.
that you really know how to interview?
Thank you very much, because it's 3 years. I think that many people today are too busy into themselves.
Right. Well, a lot of interviewers, well,
Yeah, keep going. What were you going to say?
I say a lot of interviewers will ask a question and then wait for the other person to answer.
But I think that so many people do that, but they don't wait.
I know, but you're different because you're able to fill in that time.
I wasn't prepared for
Right.
compliments because so many people get hostile with me, and I don't know why. Because I think it's a very hostile. What did you think of? How does Hollywood change? You've been so long. You started off with the wonderful Marty Allen as a partner, and he would come on stage and say, "Hello there," and you'd give him that slow burn. How have things changed for you, Steve Rossi?
First, my memory of those years is so
Are you
dim
taking ginkgo biloba?
No, I don't
Ginkgo
take
biloba
that.
is wonderful.
Is it?
I've had many things done to myself through the years, but that's my favorite thing. I have it injected.
In your face?
I injected in my thigh from an old wound. You know so many wonderful people in Hollywood through the years. Elaine May, in a stupor,
No.
but vicious with people and angry with strangers,
No, not at all.
but self-absorbed.
No.
Goldie Hawn,
Yeah.
false as a human being.
She's not false.
What's Mike Nichols like? Difficult?
No.
Moody?
No.
Tends to get angry when you're not exact.
No, he doesn't. He's quite a nice man, actually.
Quite a nice man. That's what I've heard. Where do these evil stories get started about people, do you think, in Hollywood?
I think perhaps from you.
I suppose. I can't disagree with you. I hear them, and sometimes I say, where has that started? And then I look down, and they're actually in my notes. Do you think it's weird that Suzanne Plachette is not working more?
It's a little odd. Does someone have a Kleenex out there?
You were wonderful in the play Art. What is the Picasso at La Panadal?
Sorry.
What's Picasso at La Panadal?
That's a play I wrote. It's about
Picasso at La Panadal.
Yeah. Picasso at the La Panagile.
La Panadal.
La
La
Panagile.
La Panadal.
Panagile.
What's it about, Steve Martin? Is that when you're trying to be real intellectual? You worked with balloons many times, and of course, so did the wonderful Gypsy Rose Lee. But she was a stripper, and you were sort of a stripper.
I was a stripper,
You
too.
were a male stripper.
Yes, I worked with balloons for a while.
And what
Because they're the right shape.
Have you ever thought of taking some of this on the road, Steve Martin?
And do stand-up?
And do stand-up, perhaps with balloons.
Actually, I did do stand-up.
You did do
Yes.
stand-up. Oh, my God, where did you do stand-up? In Waco, Texas?
All over the United States, I did it.
But
England-
no one saw it.
No.
Well, again, you've had a wonderful career. I have missed so much of it because I've been busy, and also some of the titles didn't strike me. But I do think you were wonderful, and I mentioned The Absent-Minded Waiter because my friend George Maharis, do you remember George Maharis from Route 66?
Yes.
His brother Leon Maharis and I were friends. And we
Really?
would sometimes we'd go to Roddy McDowell's, and we were caterers there. And one time we did we did some. I can say it now because it's so long ago. We did mescaline. Leon Maharis.
And has it ever worn off?
Oh, that's good. But that's why you should do stand-up. Steve Martin, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being so brave and be so understated.
Brave is a good word.
So much of the work that I haven't cared to see. This is Jiminy Glick. The show is Lollywood. We're at the American Comedy Awards with Mr. Steve Rossi.
Stay tuned for Ray Romano when we come back.
Where the hell is this set? They took down this set?
Evidently.
Those cheap... We're on at 5 in the morning and they take down this set?
Yeah, this is
Boy, this short's got some pull. It's an exciting day here on Jiminy Glick's Lollywood, for we're talking to the star of Everyone Loves Raymond, Ray Romano.
By the way, it is Everybody Loves Raymond.
It's like I Love Lucy, but it's not I Love Lucy. It's I being replaced by everybody and Lucy being replaced by Raymond. The wonderful Lucy, who I knew. I used to play backgammon with her. She would get feisty. All redheads do, especially when they're wearing a wig. And she would flip the whole backgammon table over, and we'd be stunned, a whole bunch of us. And I wondered, how does a comedian like Lucille Ball, and I could say the same thing to you, Ray, how do you handle the pressure of being loved by America?
I balance it off because I hate myself enough for everybody else.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I wish you'd write your thoughts down on paper. You were born in Queens, New York.
Yes.
And so, Queens is one of the boroughs of New York.
Yep.
Does a Ray Romano ever want...
Romano, it's pronounced Romano.
Romano.
Yeah.
What is that? That's Lithuanian.
It's Italian.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
So you must have grown up saying, I want pizza, I want pasta with red sauce or a cheese of your choice.
I said those things, and I got those things.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I suppose there are about 14 or 18 siblings running around because, correct me if I'm wrong, people of your type tend to have many children.
Oh, I got 2 brothers, so...
Well, that kills that theory. Let me ask you something. Are you scared of this joyful success disappearing?
I'm not even aware that it's here, it's success, you know, so I'm not afraid of it disappearing
It
yet.
hasn't sunk in.
Hasn't sunk in yet, yeah.
And is that what makes
block it
Ray
out.
so appealing? Does that make you
I'm not-
the boy next door? Well, how do you respond to your fans, Ray Romano? Is that
First of all, I
Romano?
correct them when they call me that. It's Romano.
Romano.
Yeah.
And that is an Italian name.
Italian name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Italian
all the siblings and all the
Yeah,
cliches
with the 2
of the opera
siblings.
singer and the wine. Too much wine at night. But a joyful way. Nothing is more fun than falling into sleep. You were a full-time...
I don't know what that means. What does that
You were
mean?
a full-time acrobat, and you also did stand-up. What was Johnny Carson like when you were you scared? Was a Ray Romano scared when you were on Johnny Carson?
That I was very scared of that.
Because Johnny was mean.
No, Johnny, no, he wasn't
He
mean.
was mean to you.
He wasn't mean to me. He only
Who was he mean
said a couple things.
Was that aloof?
He came in my dressing room after, and every stand-up comedian, you know, that's their dream to be on Johnny.
To be on Johnny.
Johnny Carson's show.
Oh,
yeah.
on the show.
Yeah, the show. Yeah.
And you've written how do you say this word?
A book.
Someone finished school. Everything in a kite. Everything in a
Yes,
kite.
everything in a
What does
kite.
everything in a kite mean?
It's a phrase that one of my twins said. I had twins, and I asked him what he wanted for his birthday. One of them said everything, and the other one said everything and a kite.
And do you have any children?
I have 3 sons and 1 girl.
I wish I had a girl. We keep trying. We keep trying and trying.
Yeah.
I think that's I must admit, Dixie, I think, sometimes says, down, boy. But
Yeah, okay.
I've always had a tremendous appetite in that direction, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
You know, I think I have an appetite
I
for
get the
all
point.
things in life, really. But when it comes late at night and the
Yeah.
dusk is suddenly, and before I know it, this tie is off, the shirt is open, and something.
Unfortunately, I can picture it.
I want to thank you for being.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you for being someone who I wanted you to be. Often you meet these people and they're just idiots,
Thank you.
and you are someone who just simply lives up to every expectation.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
You're not jaded. You're not dull. You read these things, and they're wrong.
Well, thank you very much.
Jiminy Glick, it's Lalawood, and I want to say thank you to everyone's favorite new Lucy. Jenna Elfman.
Thank you.
This is Jiminy Glick, and welcome to Lalawood. And I'm talking to Dharma and Greg. Jenna Elfman, and you are scrumptious. You are really, you're like a young Lana Turner. Do you ever get that? I bet you get that every day of your life. Taking the bus to work or however you get to work.
I've gotten it like a couple times. I get Terry Garr sometimes.
Oh, but I see Lana Turner, the wonderful Lana Turner.
I'll take it.
Native of Los Angeles. That means that you were not of an Indian background, but in fact you were born here. Yes. And what's that like? Wait, I mean, so many people come to Los Angeles, and yet you just were in Los Angeles.
Right. I think I'm not as affected as people who come to LA who think LA and then they do this thing. You know, I was born and raised here, so I just kind of am.
And you're from?
LA.
Oh, so you're a native.
Right.
Right, well, that's fun.
Right.
What goes through your head when I say the word bow tie?
Nothing.
What if I said bow tie?
That's award ceremonies. But if you said Bodie,
Bodie.
then something goes through my head, which is my husband, and lots of love and laughter goes through my head.
Bodie.
Bodie.
Is your husband?
Elfman.
Elfman.
Yeah.
Any relation to Danny Elfman?
Yeah, he's Bodie's uncle.
Who's Danny Elfman?
Danny Elfman is a composer.
And he's related to Bodie?
Yeah, he's Bodie's uncle.
Bodie's uncle. So he would say, "Hi, Uncle Danny," and he'd say, "Hi, little Bodie."
That's exactly what he says, actually.
Oh, that's fun. I love
He calls me the littlest Elfman.
Because you're so tall. How tall are you, Johnny Elfman?
I'm 5'10".
You know who you remind me of just a little bit?
Lana Turner?
How'd you... Oh, my... It's like a clothesline, hanging pots with little pegs.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, I love Richard Dreyfuss.
Who's Richard Dreyfuss?
Did you ever see Jaws?
No, I meant to.
Oh, yeah.
I meant to. The last thing I really saw and focused on was Route 66, the old one, because I'm this big George Maharis freak. I thought he was very underrated. But no, I never saw Jaws. You were in Jaws?
Mr. Holland's Opus.
You were in Jaws?
No, that's Richard Dreyfuss.
So the cast of Jaws was a Jenna Elfman, a Richard Dreyfuss, and a Holland's Opus?
Krippendorf's Tribe was Jenna Elfman and Richard Dreyfuss. Jaws was a different set of people, and then Mr. Holland's Opus is another movie with a different set of actors.
And Krippendorf's Tribe is a film that is about a tribe. That's wonderful. Oh, similarity.
What?
You have a pug named Guinevere.
Yes, I do. I have 2 pugs now, actually.
And my best friend in high school was named Pug. I was reading the notes, and I thought, oh, my God, it's like a psychic twin.
That's so funny. And then you're coming...
Not a twin at all, because you're Jenna Elfman. And I want to thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much. And there's so much I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to Hollywood. I wanted to get to liposuction, which I have had.
It doesn't last, huh?
Well, I mean, what happened was that they used a hose that had not been cleaned. No, this is not upsetting. I don't want you to lose it on this one. But they had actually used the hose that a gardener had been using outside of the hospital. And I ended up with Dutch elm disease in my thigh, which certainly...
You know what helps that is tea tree oil.
Well, I've been using a mustard salve, which is just Heinz mustard. And I put it on and put it on, and And if I don't end up eating a bologna sandwich or something.
Yeah, I know, which can make you fatter.
I'm full of sweets. Would you take me for a tour of this wonderful, wonderful studio? Because this is wonderful.
Do you want to see the kitchen first or the bedroom?
Anything a cooking.
Oh, God! Oh!
Up next, Eileen Davidson. Don't go away.
I once cornered Eileen Heckard at the Biloxi Theater. She was dressed as Little Bo Peep, and you should have seen my staff. Hello, I'm Jiminy Glick, and the show is Lollywood, and I'm talking to Y&R. Yes, the young and the restless. Eileen Davidson.
Hi, Jiminy.
You are a cupcake with extra icing, Julia. You really are so wonderful.
Thanks.
And you know who you look like? You have a bit of Lana Turner. The Lana Turner of later on, Peyton Place.
Older Lana
well,
Turner.
I would say the lovelier Lana Turner.
Thank you.
With a smile and a makeup that would make Lucy proud. Full-lipped and vivacious. Yes, Eileen Davidson. Why doesn't Eileen Davidson seem like a winner? What does Eileen Davidson have that indeed so many of the other beauties of Hollywood not have? What is a survivor technique?
Lots of ass kissing.
Ask.
I'm very good at it.
You sure? And you have again the full Lucy mouth to prove.
Oh, thank you.
What makes Eileen Davidson want to do Days of Our Lives and Santa Barbara at the same time wanting then to be on Y&R? Does an Eileen Davidson get confused with all the characters she plays?
I managed to separate them, yeah, because they're kind of in chronology.
Hold on, I'm sorry, please. Yes. Hello? Hello, Troy. No. No, for the big one, it's in the bottom bureau drawer. Tell Dixie to hide the big one from the boys. Thanks. Okay.
Pardon me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry. You know,
We are interviewing me, right?
Yes, we are, but an
Okay.
assistant sometimes phones me. And when they phone me and it's an emergency, I'm during an interview, and it's embarrassing. You play the character of Ashley Abbott.
Right.
How is Ashley Abbott different from Eileen Davidson?
She's a chemist,
She's a chemist.
and I'm not a chemist.
You're not a chemist.
I'm an actress.
Who's Ashley?
A chemist.
The character you play on
Young and the Restless.
The Young and the Restless.
You had me confused. I almost thought it was Days of Our Lives for a second there.
My problem is that there's so much on my plate that sometimes I look at my plate and say, my God, is George Wendt dining? And then I realize it's just...
Seems like you pretty much clean
my
your plate,
workload
don't you?
is terribly full. You were in the film House and Sorority Row.
Oh, boy, we're going to go back
Tell me
that
about
far, huh?
House and Sorority Row.
Horror movie. Horror movie, kind of the generic kind of horror movie. that you-
H-O-O. H-O-R-R.
No, H-O.
And you were House and Sorority Row. I
Where
would
is my
imagine it was
agent?
about a house that was on a sorority row.
You're quick. Baby. Yes, it was on a row.
Wonderful. You have so much of an Anne Blythe quality.
Right.
Or perhaps, I don't know if you've ever gotten Lana Turner. She's
Older
wonderful,
Lana Turner.
too.
I've gotten that just recently, yes.
Interesting. You were in John Voight's film Eternity.
Right.
And you were wonderful in
Oh,
that.
thank you.
And your character was...
Well, I play two characters in
Two
that.
characters in that. Now, did John wear the white scarf in that, or is that just for the Oscars?
He wore a white scarf, but not the white scarf.
But he played two characters.
One with
John-
the scarf, one
with the
without the scarf.
One without the scarf, because if you wore the scarf, then it wouldn't be the same character that without the scarf. Oh, he's
This
wonderful.
isn't about John Voight, is it? It's about me.
My interview is with Eileen Davidson. The show is Lollywood. This has been fun.
Thanks. It has been fun.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. Hello? And I
gotta
can't
go.
wait. This will just take a second.
Yeah. Excuse me.
She's getting upset. Stacy, she's getting upset, and yet I have to take this. Why is that suddenly I'm the bad person? I'm Jiminy Glick. The show is Jiminy Glick's Lalawood, and I'm wonderfully happy to say that I'm talking to one of the wonderful talkers in Hollywood, and his name is Jay Leno.
Oh, can I help you? Are you all right there in that
That's
chair?
I'm just getting, it's cramped. I went to a friend's soiree in East Hampton over the weekend, and I must have eaten. I wanted a pastry.
Well, the chairs, they're getting so small now because of the cutbacks.
Where it gets awkward is when you stand up and it goes with you.
Yeah.
That's what Jay Leno. Oh, my goodness. You were in Silver Bears.
Yes.
Tell me about that. How does a Jay Leno get to be in Silver Bears? I imagine it was tough back then for Jay Leno to be in Silver Bears.
I was rooming with Twyla Tharp. She had a friend who knew a guy who got me this part.
And when you first developed, when you developed the character for Silver Bears,
Yes.
what was it? What was the character all about?
What was the character all
Was
about?
it close? Was the character in Silver Bears like Jay, or Jay like Silver Bears?
I was playing myself, but younger, which was not really that much of a stretch then because I was myself and younger.
And did you have a Scottish accent? Because I would imagine you'd be very good with accents.
No, actually, I just had the normal accent that I had.
And the normal accent is wonderful. Is it true you had your stomach not stapled, but in fact bobby pinned? Which was,
yes, I did.
Stacey said you had but to make the food go more in a wave.
To make it work.
In a kiss curl. That is, you had that
kiss
done.
curl?
It was that painful?
Hey, you do what you have to do.
Because you seem wonderfully fit.
Yeah.
I've had liposuction in every opening, and I'm telling you, it can be painful. You've been doing The Late Show now for 7 years.
No, actually, I do the Tonight Show. I do the Tonight Show. The Late Show is on CBS. That's Dave Letterman's show. I do the Tonight Show.
Stacey, how the heck does that happen if you're doing that? If he's not Letterman, Stacey gets very upset, and I feel badly about that. Paul Schaefer, when did you first meet him?
Again, Paul does not work for me, but I met him Actually, I met him when we first went to CBS. As you know, I was doing the show after the Tonight Show, and that didn't work out. And I went to CBS for a huge salary, and then I took Paul with me.
Oh, huge salary, piece of the
Easier
pie.
than arguing.
Well, I want to say thank you.
Idiot.
There's so much I wanted to talk to you.
I'm not going to argue with him. I'm just going to agree.
You love cars. I've always thought of you as...
Cars and Gunsmoke.
Did
Gunsmoke for 21 years.
Oh, I love
James
Gunsmoke.
Arness.
Do you know that I used to service, and when I say service,
James
I mean
Arness?
service the tires to Amanda Blake. Amanda Blake knew my brother Richie, and Richie knew Amanda Blake's sister.
Really?
So it was like a strange kind of journey where there were curves and lefts.
Yeah.
And you're left-handed, and so is Desi Arnaz Jr., which is I don't want to really go into why. I know that, but I know that. And there's so much I want to talk. I want to talk to Doritos, but sometimes it's all confusing. Well, I want to say thank you to the wonderful Jay Leno. He's been a treat. The show is The Late Show, and he's been doing
on CBS.
Years on CBS.
CBS.
And I want to say thank you
home.
and say hello to, and please say hello to Morty.
I will.
Jay Leno.
Stay tuned for Michael Clark Duncan after these messages.
Hello, this is Jiminy Glick. The show is Lalawood, and we're lucky enough to be talking to the star of The Green Mile with Mr. Tom Hanks. Say hello to Michael Duncan.
You missed the most important part. You missed the Clark.
Clark, after the wonderful Clark Gable.
There you go.
You've appeared in such
You have my whole thing right there.
wonderful. Well, I mean, here I'm thinking Bulworth.
Big.
What was it like working on Bulworth with the wonderful Warren Beatty?
Easy.
Easy in the sense that he
Very.
was loose. Oh my goodness, you were in the Players Club. That was what's the Players Club?
That is like a female hotspot.
Where the ladies are scantily clothed.
Yes. And the
And
men
you worked there in a teddy.
Did you? I didn't want the people to know that.
So you were a cross-dressing star of the Players.
I didn't want.
Oh, that's fine. It's going to come out anyway.
It wasn't like.
No, it's on the front page of the Globe.
I know.
Don't fight the inevitability,
but just
Michael
give me-
Clark Duncan. You were in Armageddon. Bruce Willis, big bully on the set.
Oh, all the time, man.
Yes.
Those is
The man
running
arriving
around.
late saying, I am Hollywood, who cares if I have hair?
And I couldn't do that. That's what I'm mad about, because I arrived 1 second late,
And
and
they
Michael
came
Bay
down on
almost
you.
took my head off. Now, why is that? Maybe you can help me out.
Could it be because you were low man in the totem pole? I think the problem is many people have said, for example, you're working married with children.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They-
you know what the thing is? I haven't done a lot of work, that's true, but you're not supposed to look at that. Take that and turn that right there.
Oh.
We're talking right now. Oh, sure, my resume isn't extensive like
Oh,
Tom
I'm
Hanks.
throwing away the
You know
notes.
what I'm saying?
Let me throw
Everybody
away
looks
the
at
notes.
Tom Hanks, 2-time Academy Award
Oh.
winner. Big deal. It was me that carried this movie, and I think you should point that out.
Let me say something that I think that you're an up-and-comer. I loved you in JAG.
I was not in JAG.
You know, you made me throw my notes on the
When did you
ground.
see Armageddon? It was last summer, the blockbuster.
Oh, my goodness, Armageddon, that sounds
Yes,
wonderful.
yes.
That was with Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Steve Buscemi, all those guys.
Affleck is
Right,
wonderful.
right, I was
Wonderful.
there.
He's part of the Gen Y thing that everyone's talking
Yeah,
about
what
and you're
thing?
confused by.
Yes.
Are you saying to yourself, my goodness, he mumbles, and is he ultimately dull?
He is
Because there are
the type of
those who
guy-
say, Michael, that he's dull. I don't
you
think
didn't
he
listen
is.
to me. You're not listening.
Well, you know, that's my problem because
I know, but you should do that.
I have slight
Please.
attention deficits.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you know that I'm trying to be nice, and I really wish you would listen to me.
What's your point, Michael Clark Duncan?
Right now, you're making me very uncomfortable.
Let me ask you something, Clark. Why do you
Oh,
think
it's
that people...
Michael.
Let me...
It's Michael Clark Duncan.
Duncan, let me just simply ask. When Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow
I don't
split,
know
suddenly
what-
we felt very vulnerable. I
Right,
think it's a
okay.
nation.
But why would-
But then before you know it, hear me out, Clark, hear me out.
Talking about Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow for, we're talking about The Green Mile.
That's the film that you're appearing in with Tom
Yes,
Hanks.
yes, that's what I'm trying
And
to tell you.
Duncan Clark Michael,
No,
stand
it's
as a...
Michael Clark Duncan. Just say that, Michael Clark. That's
Michael
all?
Clark Duncan.
That's it. That's it.
Who's Michael Clark Duncan? You're Michael Clark
I'm Michael Clark in
and
Armageddon.
you are in Armageddon's
No,
Mile.
no, I was in Armageddon.
You're in Armageddon.
Last year, and now I'm in The Green Mile.
I appeared in a show years ago called Armageddon Out of Here.
Yeah,
And it was a one-man musical review about inevitability.
Like, we were not here to talk about that, man.
No, nor should we be. One last question. You remind me of someone
All right.
who
Are you going to ask me a question how I would like to work with Tom Hanks or something? I'm really uncomfortable because you haven't asked me anything about my movie.
I would like to ask you something about Tom Hanks.
Okay, get to it.
Tom Hanks has a reputation of being obnoxious to the low people, Was he therefore obnoxious to you?
I'm through. I'm
What
out.
have I done?
I'm out. 'cause
I don't
this is
understand.
ridiculous.
This is a
my
man-
movie. You know how much time I put in this movie?
Let me guess, a week.
I was on it for 3 months. You know the
3
tears that
months?
came out? That was my tears.
3 months, and you see, but...
That was me. Didn't nobody rub anything under my eyes. That was me. Can't you
Do
understand
you know how
that?
Betty Davis used to do it? She used to rip hairs out of her nostrils, and the second the last hair had been ripped out, she retired.
I don't care about...
Why she won't do
I don't care about Betty Davis. Can't you understand this about my picture?
Please say hello. It's been Lollywood. It's Duncan Michael Frank.
you
And
didn't-
it's
Michael
a
Clark, you
film
didn't
of the
ask me
Green
about
Mile.
The Green Mile, man.
The Green Mile.
We'll be back with Jiminy Glick and Deidre Hall after these messages.
I once wrote an opening theme for the great John Hall when he was starring in a musical adaptation of Ramar of the Jungle.
Really?
Sophie Tucker had a set of lips on her. I remember one time. Hello, I'm Jiminy Glick, and the show is Lollywood. And we're on the set of Days of Our Lives. Like the sands through the hourglass.
So are the days of our lives.
Days of Our Lives, my favorite of all, is Deidre Hall. And she's to my right, or left, depending on where you're from. You are simply timeless.
Thank you.
The show started in 1965. And you, at that time, played the character Rochelle, correct?
Well, I didn't begin in 65. That
You
was when the
didn't?
show began, no. I came on in 78, and I've always played Marlena Evans.
Marlena Evans. Tell me a little bit about Deidre Hall, about when Luke and Laura were married, and you were there, and there was Miss Elizabeth Taylor, old Violet Eyes herself. It must have been wonderful and extremely sad to see these two characters married.
That wasn't Days of Our Lives. That was on General Hospital. Luke and Laura are on General Hospital, and
You've appeared in love letters on stage.
I did. How did you know that?
Stacy is my assistant. Sometimes she gets things wrong, but once in a while she's correct. I've not seen love letters often done. Only once in Las Vegas with Siegfried and Roy. But I would imagine your love letters must have been very, very invigorating because you played both roles.
Do
you not play twins?
Well, I did on Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives is a soap opera.
Yes.
And you play?
I play Dr. Marlena Evans.
Marlena Evans. Does she have any siblings?
She has a twin sister.
A twin sister?
She has an evil twin. It's hard to believe I know in daytime.
And do you play both parts, or is it like they get someone who kind of looks like a Deidre Hall, and then she is the sister, and then she's not the sister?
No, you know, in fact, I have a twin sister in real life, and she's a teacher.
And she plays Marlena Evans.
She came in and she played Samantha Evans, my evil twin.
Your evil twin. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. That must have been fun. She was born on Halloween.
Yes, we both were.
You both were?
Because we're identical twins.
You're twins. Tell me about the feeling of winning a soap opera digest award. You're nominated, and you sit there, and you're shaking, and you must be nervous. You must be scared.
It's hard.
What is?
It's hard being in that room.
What?
In the room where they're televising the award shows and not knowing...
Which award show?
Soap Opera Digest Awards.
Oh, they're wonderful. What's that like being there?
It's awkward. It's awkward because you're never quite sure if you're...
You're not sure whether you're going to win or not. And they open up the envelope and they say the winner is Samantha Evans. That must be quite a feeling. Who is Stephen Sommer?
Stephen Sommer is my husband.
Your husband on the show?
No, he's my husband in my real husband in real life.
Your real husband in real life?
Mm-hmm.
And he is married to your sister, Samantha Evans.
No, my sister, my real sister in real life is married to a man named Tom Gengler. And
Tom Gengler?
Tom Gengler is my twin...
Tom Gengler.
Tom.
Mm-hmm. That must be wonderful to say to your brother-in-law, brother-in-law Tom, I've made a pie. Come and have a slice. When we first met years ago, you were wearing a Nolan Miller gown, silver with a hint of a boa.
I remember you like that.
Because I kept thinking, that boa, I could wear that boa. And then I was clearly
you never
laughing.
said it back to me.
Yeah, but I mean, because my wife Dixie wears it sometimes, and one year, the eldest boy Morgan put it on, and we were confused, but he was doing a joke. He's into skit playing.
Oh.
And this has been a joy, and I want to thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for all the years that you've given, and the joy, and I'm getting emotional. I feel like an idiot, but because you're wonderful.
Thanks.
You really are wonderful. Because through the sands of an hourglass, there goes the hourglass sand. Thank you.
Jiminy Glick and George Siegel when we return.
That's what I call a team. Two members of the tribe. Hello.
Oh,
this is
God.
Jiminy Glick. The show is Lala Wood. And I'm on the set of the wonderful, wonderful show, Just shoot me, and with the wonderful, is it George Siegel or George Segal?
It is actually Siegel.
You've been in Hollywood for so many years, George. And what I...
You see, I have this thing about being touched, Mr.
You have a
Glick.
thing about being tiny.
Yes.
You made A Touch of Class. The wonderful,
yes.
wonderful film with Lynn Redgrave.
Yes,
where she
exactly.
was very brittle in English. And you were American and boorish, and yet your two worlds combined.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't she win the Academy Award, Lynn Redgrave, for that film, George Sickle?
Yes, she did.
Was she fun?
Lynn?
Yes.
Yes, enormous fun. You know, she has sisters and a brother, Corin.
I knew her father, Michael Redgrave.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. Now, you've done so many things that I'm really not interested in, but I've highlighted a couple of those that intrigue me. The Young Doctors, the year 1961. Did you follow the script, or was it just simply off the top of your head? Because it didn't look very professional.
You know, I'm hurting.
Well, move that.
Please
over
don't
there.
touch me,
I'm
Mr. Glick.
sorry, I keep forgetting. You and Chuck Connors were the same way, hated to be touched, and yet. You've done...
Excuse me, Mr. Glick. Does this appear anywhere, what we're doing now?
It is on the show Lalawood. And I think it's what's syndicated, so trust me, there's not a tremendous market. Let me ask you about King Rat. What is King Rat?
Well, this guy was the king of his domain.
And he was a rat.
And a rat at the same time.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Hold on. Hello? Oh, hi, Dixie. How are you? Well, he can pick up the suit. He can pick up the suit when it's ready, then. No. Oh, don't tell Cousin Lena. She's the worst. She'll have the people over. Okay, call you later, baby.
Mr. Glick, I've got a show. I've got a show tonight.
You do?
A lot of
So you're still living in Hollywood?
Yes, I am.
And what's your show?
It's called Just Shoot Me.
Oh, with that little angry David Spade.
Yes.
He was once very rude to me because he met me. He was interviewed on the show. Do you have a moment?
Please don't touch me, Mr. Glick.
I don't want to talk about David Spade. I want to talk
let
about
me
your
just
work.
say one thing. May I say?
Oh, you worked in the wonderful film with
You don't leave
Taylor.
anybody any air, Mr. Glick.
What would you like to say, George?
Well, I wanted to say that David Spade, in fact, talks about you all the time. It's Jiminy Glick this and Jiminy Glick that. So I was really looking forward to this interview.
David Spade has an attitude problem. And I'm not saying that it's something that exists all the time, but you have to understand. When you take the lifts off, he's a very tiny little thing. There's attitude, there's anger, and that's not his real hair. So all those pieces fit together, and finally, it's Linda Hunt after a sauna. So you have to understand his rage, and he has turned it on me because he made accusations because I am married with 4 children, and he didn't buy that. And I thought it was rude, and I thought it was shallow. I have indeed 4 sons, Morgan, Mason, Matthew, and Modine. Because I'm a tremendous fan of Matthew Modine's work, so we named the last 2 after him. They were twins. Let me talk about Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Please.
You worked with the wonderful Elizabeth Taylor, and I imagine she came onto the set, and those violet eyes. And I was still, for many years, I was upset because Eddie Fisher, it seemed so right, and then it ended. Why do you think Hollywood is so unfair to people like Eddie Fisher?
Do you know that Elizabeth Taylor has a double set of eyelashes which help with the violet eyes? Were you aware of that?
I'm aware she has a set, but I didn't realize there were eyelashes. And you worked with her each day. And was she moody? Bitter? Angry?
No, none of those things.
Mean to the crew?
No, I found her to be completely professional.
I totally agree with that. Well, I hear you flub your lines, and I'm sure I know what that's about. And oh my God, you grew up in Bucks County. That's so funny because my best friend growing up was named Buck. I want to say thank you, George Siegel. Not much of this is usable, but it still was a great experience to get to talk with you. The man with the Quiller Memorandum. The Quiller Memorandum.
Is this almost over? Oh, please don't do that.
I want to thank you for being who you are and being brave and being one of the great spirits of Hollywood. George...
How do you like it now, Mr. Glick?
Where'd he go? It's Jiminy Glick. The show is Lalo. And this was George Segal. Get off!
We'll have more with Irving Cohen right after this. Well, Irving, I enjoyed that. How about you?
course you did. You're half in the bag. Give me a C, a bouncy C. I'm here with a guy who likes his booze. He don't know the difference between Goyim and Jews. We've been watching that Glick who knows his cred, but I'm working for peanuts and that ain't so good. Da-da-da, D-D-D, or whatever the hell else you want to put in there at that time. You know...
Clear!
The great thing about Al Jolson was that he was one of the most obnoxious people in the world, but the audience never knew it.
They loved him.
He was mean. He had a belligerent, always smelled of pastrami, because that made his vocal cords limber.
Really?
Like Limburger cheese. He could sing a song. Again, he'd get on one knee.
Yeah.
Irving. Oh, he's gone again.
Clear!
Cornell Wilde was once angry at me because he wanted to do a musical, but he couldn't sing. I said to him, take some lessons from the great Sophie Tucker. And he wouldn't listen to me. What